Thank you, Your Majesty. We will now have a curtain unveiling ceremony. The unveiling of this plaque by Her Majesty the 𝐿TSAN, the patron, signifies the opening of the Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscapes Conference, co-organized by the Royal Government of Bhutan and the Tiger Conservation Coalition. Allow me the honor to now invite renowned wildlife artist John Banovich to present a painting to Her Majesty on behalf of the Tiger Conservation Coalition. The painting is titled Ta, inspired by the Buddhist concept of the four dignities: wisdom, compassion, contentment, and discernment. These traits align with the spirit of the tiger and help explain why tiger has enchanted mankind throughout millennia. As we conclude the inaugural ceremony, allow me to invite you to proceed to the formal opening of the exhibitions on the 𝐶𝐿𝐹u Mindfulness City and Tiger Arts, which will be inaugurated by Her Majesty. The 𝐶𝐿𝐹u Mindfulness City is a visionary concept of harmonious coexistence with nature, which adopts sustainable practices at its core. We encourage you to experience the beginning of this vision of mindful living and holistic well-being. There will be a silent auction for paintings of the Tiger Arts exhibition that is on display in the 𝐒𝐬𝐧𝐚𝐥 ground floor. A percentage of proceeds from the art sales will go directly to tiger conservation efforts in Bhutan. For more information, please go online to www.tigerartauction.bfl.org.bt. QR codes are posted around the conference venue. All those present are welcome and encouraged to submit their bids, which will be open for the entire 2 days of the conference. We are also extremely excited to introduce our very first digital collectibles, or commonly known as NFT. We have a special NFT named The Tiger in the Snow. This digital art was inspired by a real tiger captured by our camera trap during the recent tiger survey. What makes this NFT special is that it is for the first time that a real tiger has been transformed into a digital art on the blockchain. Although this is a small move, we take special pride in placing our tiger in the digital world, and we hope its presence will inspire people in the metaverse as the tigers have inspired all of us present here today in the real world. The exhibitions will be followed by tea in the courtyard, following which we'll resume in the Founders Court. Thank you, La.
Kuzu Zampola, and welcome to the opening session of the Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscapes Conference. Your Majesty the 𝐿𝐶𝐻, Your Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Pahang, Malaysia, Your Excellency the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In various cultures, tiger is a symbol of strength, resilience, and guardianship. This guardianship transcends cultural boundaries, embracing our collective responsibility towards our planet. Over the next 2 days, we embark on a journey focusing on tiger conservation, sustainable finance, and our collective vision for ensuring a thriving future for wild tigers. It is with great privilege that we inaugurate the historic Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscapes Conference today, hosted by the Royal Government of Bhutan under the royal patronage of Her Majesty the 𝐒𝐿𝐶𝐻 and co-organized by the Tiger Conservation Coalition. As your host for this very important event, I, 𝐶𝐻, express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity bestowed upon me. Before we commence our proceedings, I kindly request your attention to a few logistical matters. As this conference is being live-streamed, if any attendees prefer not to be filmed, please inform us. To ensure an uninterrupted flow of discussions, we kindly ask all attendees to put their phones on silent mode. I would also like to remind everyone about the art exhibition. The funds from the art sales will go a long way in tiger conservation. During the sessions, I request the speakers to kindly come on stage as the moderator announces your name and be seated from left to right. I also urge all speakers to stick to the allotted time slots and be mindful of the timekeeper, who will discreetly signal when 2 minutes remain for your presentation. Lastly, if you have any questions or need assistance, our protocol officers and organizers will be available to assist you. Thank you for your patience and understanding. With that said, it is my distinct honor to introduce our esteemed first speaker. Today, we are privileged to have His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Dr. 𝐶𝐻, who will deliver the government keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending warm welcome to His Excellency as he takes center stage.
Your Majesty the Queen, may I have your blessings to address this important conference. Your Majesty the Queen, on behalf of the Royal Government of Bhutan and on behalf of all the participants to this conference, I offer my thanks to Your Majesty for your royal patronage of this very important conference. Your Royal Highness, Prince Hassanal Ibrahim Alam Shah, Crown Prince of Pahang, Excellencies and representatives of Tiger Range countries, executives and representatives of Tiger Conservation Coalition, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bhutan and a very happy World Earth Day. I'd like to share 3 quick stories, 3 simple stories. The first is about a comic book I read. And don't worry, this was almost 50 years ago. I was in a boarding school in India, and it was a comic book on Jataka tales. In the comic book, a swan fell from the sky to Prince Siddhartha, who later became the Gautam Buddha. But at that time, he was Prince Siddhartha. And he noticed that the swan was injured, had an arrow. So he removed the arrow gently and tried as best as he could to nurse the swan back to health. A short time later, his cousin, Devadatta, arrived and asked for his swan. He said he shot the swan. It's his swan. An argument ensued, and the two of them decided to seek counsel from the oldest person in the palace, a wise old sage. I knew what the outcome was going to be. Devadatta had shot the swan, therefore the swan belonged to him. And I was shocked. As I turned the page of the comic book, I could see the wise sage say, Devadatta, you tried to take the swan's life away. Prince Siddhartha, you have given life to the swan. The swan belongs to you. The second story happened a few years later, when I was home for my winter vacation from my boarding school. As I was enjoying the winter sun, I heard dogs bark, and then dogs bay, and then children scream. I saw the dogs run after something, and the children run after dogs, yelling at the top of their voice. And then I could see this deer running in front of all of them. Adrenaline flooded in my system. I ran with the children after the baying dogs. I could smell blood. I could smell a kill. I could smell dinner. And just as I was catching up to the children, other children, I heard a shrill voice behind me saying, Siri. That's what my mother calls me, short for saying Siri. Siri, come right back. And then she says, what on earth do you think you're doing? And I said, the dogs are going to get the deer. And she said, don't you know any better? We live near a forest. And she said, animals from the forest come to human habitation only when they need your help. You should be helping the deer. It's probably a leopard or a tiger this deer is running away from. I don't remember what happened to the deer, but I remember my mother's counsel to me. Much later, almost 45 years later, in 2018, I was serving as a Prime Minister at that time. I woke up and I checked my phone, and I saw that social media was abuzz with a certain viral video of a tiger lumbering down into Tengku. Somebody had captured the picture through his car, and the tiger was walking down nonchalantly like a boss. I could see how regal the tiger was. But what my mother had cautioned me many decades ago came back. And I said, the tiger probably needs help. I called the forestry department, and by then, they had located the tiger, tranquilized the tiger, and taken it up to the wildlife sanctuary. Indeed, the tiger needed our help. The tiger had come to seek help from us. The tiger was ill. Our veterinarians tried their best. They administered intravenously drugs, a range of tonics, antibiotics. Our monk body offered prayers. Her Majesty, the Queen, visited the tiger. I visited too, several times. My daughter, who was 18 then, spoke with the tiger. 16 days later, the tiger breathed his last. He died. The tiger's name, BT51. The tiger had been recorded in 2010, 2015, beg your pardon, and was named BT51, numbered BT51. As BT51 closed his eyes for the last time, my daughter whispered to me, "Dad, I don't see fear. Dad, I don't see anger. I see gratitude in the eyes of the tiger." I hear my daughter has a tattoo of a tiger. She hasn't shown it to me. I'm sure it is BT51. I'd like to believe that the swan sought out Prince Siddhartha for help. I'd like to believe that the deer came to us for help. I'd like to believe that BT51 came to us in the capital city for help. I'd like to believe that animals and human beings coexist, not just coexist, but animals seek human beings for help. I'd like to believe that during the 300,000 years that we human beings have inhabited Earth, we have coexisted peacefully with animals who have lived on Earth for millions of years, millions upon millions of years. And I think my belief is actually well placed. My faith is well placed. Because by and large, in human history, in those 300,000 years, we have coexisted peacefully with animals. It's just in the last century. In the grand scheme of things, it was just a fraction of time that we started attacking animals and wildlife. In the last 50 years, the World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet report says that we've lost 70% of the population of animals, 70% in 50 years. In the last 100 years, tiger population had plummeted from a high of 100,000 tigers worldwide to a low of 3,200 tigers in 2010. In just 100 years, we almost drove the tiger to extinction. Indeed, 2 of their species were driven to extinction. But as we gather here today, we must see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. For since then, we have made a rebound, a remarkable rebound. Tiger numbers have increased. And that is thanks to your good efforts. So today, during the Sustainable Finance Tiger Conference, we need to celebrate our past successes. We need to celebrate our present resolve and our future aspirations. We must celebrate our past because we have succeeded. We have succeeded in almost doubling our tiger numbers. From a low of 3,200, today tiger numbers stand at 5,575. Largely due to your goodwill, your support, your sacrifices. In Bhutan too, tiger numbers have increased from 103 in 2015 to 131 today. Would have been 132, but for BT51. We've made progress. And when we make progress in tiger numbers, we know that we make progress in the conservation of the environment. We've made tremendous progress in the conservation of the environment, maintaining our biodiversity, maintaining our forest cover, ensuring that we are carbon negative because of our development philosophy of gross national happiness. Our development philosophy ensures that all socio-economic growth is balanced with environmental conservation. But gross national happiness does not happen automatically, it needs leadership. We have been blessed by the leadership of our enlightened kings. In terms of environmental conservation, we have especially been blessed by the leadership of Her Majesty the Queen of Bhutan. All aspects of conservation have been guided, indeed driven, by Her Majesty the Queen. Bhutan has come a long way. Yet we have a long way to go. In terms of tiger numbers, just as the world, the entire world, has a long way to go in terms of growing our tiger numbers, because tigers represent more than themselves. Tigers represent our forests, our ecosystems. Tigers represent our collective future. So let's celebrate our past successes. Let's celebrate our present resolve. Resolve is what has brought you here together. Resolve is what has committed you to doing more in terms of conserving tiger numbers. Like I said, we have a long way to go. But we have friends, experts. We have friends in the government. We have friends, donors, all of us champions. And most importantly, we have a royal patron. But to get the work done, we need resources. We need money. And this conference can be a watershed moment in the history of tigers and conservation. If we can raise the amount of money that's required, the shortfall identified by the tiger conservationists, if we can raise that shortfall, I think all of us together, we will be able to increase tiger numbers. And then we must celebrate our future. The future is possible. We've worked with a range of agencies in Bhutan. All have helped us conserve our environment, protect our tiger numbers. We have the Bhutan Trust Fund for Environment, the first environment trust fund. But more recently, we have the Bhutan for Life, envisioned by His Majesty the King and supported by many others, but mainly by WWF US. And for that, I thank my friend, Carter Roberts, CEO and President of WWF US. He held my hand, literally held my hand, as we went and told our conservation story to the world. And it's because of his friendship and his leadership that we were able to raise the funds that were needed for Bhutan for Life. I tell you this story only to tell you, to inspire you, that we can raise the funds required for all Tiger Range countries to do the hard work, to do the important work of protecting and growing tiger numbers. Going forward, as we celebrate our future, let us not forget, this is not just about tigers. It's about ecosystems. It's about the environment. It's about us. It's about our humanity. It's about our future. It's about the soul of humanity. As we celebrate our past, present, and future, don't forget to celebrate one another. Renew old friends, make new friends, share your stories, inspire each other. Discover Bhutan. And as we share stories and go on this journey together, remember that the animals count on us. Listen to that swan. Hear that deer look into the eyes of the tiger, BT51. Hear their cries for help. Let's save them, let's conserve them, let's grow their numbers. For in doing so, we protect ourselves, we protect our forests, and we protect our future. We protect our souls. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for sharing your beautiful stories and wisdom with us. We are truly inspired for a vision for a more sustainable future.